And joining us in studio tonight, criminal defense attorney Gal Pisetsky from Pisetsky and Berliner. Thank you for coming in once again.
How are you?
Great. So let's talk about this whole Harry Smith testimony. Sure. What are your thoughts on that? Good idea, bad idea?
Terrible idea.
Terrible idea for the defense. Okay,
Terrible
why?
Idea. It is basically what they tried to do during direct examination is turn into a cross-examination. You don't want a witness to be called a hostile witness. You don't want to start crossing him in front of the jury. It's bad tactic.
So I'm wondering how this decision then is made. If it's, somebody like you can say this is bad tactic, I got to imagine the other attorneys, well, at least one of them thought it was a bad idea too, but yet here they go ahead with this. So how does that conversation go between these attorneys?
When you have so many attorneys in a trial like that, I think one of them is lead attorney, and I heard you say before that Joel Brodsky is the lead attorney here. The other attorneys should have probably piped in and said something more, be more assertive about it. But the bottom line was, if Joe Brodsky decided that's who he wants, and with the input of Drew Peterson possibly, they decided to put him on. It was a mistake. I can think of at least two of the attorneys in that trial that most likely, if I know them personally, they would have said no.
Okay, so explain to me once again, what would have been the angle that they were trying to play out that would have made this a good witness for the defense? So they were going for what? What were they trying to show?
They were trying to discredit the
Neil
pastor,
Shorey,
Neil
right?
Shorey. That's what they were trying to do. They were hoping maybe that he would give some type of testimony that will rebut or negate what the pastor said. However, we know that the reason the prosecutor didn't call him was not because he was going to rebut Neil Shorey. It was because he was going to talk about Stacy Peterson and possibly her disappearance. And they wanted to stay away from it.
Because they would have gotten in trouble.
Again.
Okay. But here we are. Stacy Peterson's name came up today in court. So I'm wondering, how much weight does that carry with the jury today as they go and make a decision here in the coming week?
Well, once again, Stacy Peterson testified in court. It was terrible, in my opinion, that she testified through the attorney Harry, pretty much the last witness. I think Mr. Peterson's son, who testified last, did not have much
You don't think he had much impact, though?
I think that he is, everybody knows that he is there. He came before to the courtroom. He walked on the stand, and he kind of smiled at his dad. He's on his dad's side.
He's a sympathizer.
He's a sympathizer for his dad. He's not an independent witness. Stacy Peterson testified through the attorney today, and that was the last thing, almost the last thing that they heard.
Okay. We do have a caller on the line, and again, if you want to call in, 877-358-CLTV. Go ahead with your question if you can hear me.
Yes. I would like to know how common it is for a person to be convicted of murder with this level of circumstantial evidence.
Okay. We've talked about this before, that there are plenty of cases where people are convicted on just circumstantial evidence alone.
Right, and this case has been in the media years before it came to trial. Who doesn't know that Stacy Peterson disappeared? Because the potential jurors, back when she disappeared, did not know that they were potential jurors. We got to remember that. So they have memories from that point, from that time as well. Going back to the question, it is common because people, jurors, go on their gut reaction in addition to what the judge tells them the law is. My experience, jurors do look very, very strongly as to what the judge tells them, but they cannot forget common sense at home. And when you have, for example, everybody's talking about Stacy Peterson and she's not there, you got to wonder what's going on. Where is she?
All right, my next question is just what happens next? We've got the rebuttal, which starts tomorrow. How does that work? Is it kind of a day thing? Who's likely to come up?
Well, it seems like nothing in the Drew Peterson trial is a day thing, but hopefully it's going to be a day thing.
Okay.
I think that they may call us one or two pathologists to rebut the defense pathologist, because expert witness can sometimes sit in court and give their opinion about what the other expert said during trial. And I'm not sure if they have anybody else. It doesn't seem like they really need to.
Yeah. You think this is going to wrap up by next week at some point?
Very likely. I think it probably will wrap up tomorrow. I doubt it if anybody wants it to go to the jury on Friday. So we will see it probably closing arguments on Tuesday and then going to the jury.
And Drew Peterson not testifying, is that any surprise? You
Not at
This is
all.
what we expected.
Right. If he goes on the stand, it would have been an even worse disaster.
Okay, thank you so much. Gal Pisetsky, criminal defense attorney with Pisetsky and Berliner. Thank you for coming in. All right, when we come back, we've got a couple of things to talk about. One is Twitter. How does Twitter play a role in this case? Stay with us. We'll be right back.